Growing up, I'm sure you've heard a number of stories about Ghana and its history. Well, what if I give you an opportunity where you get to listen to these experiences through the people who actually lived their life in this era as we mark Ghana Month on Ghanaweb TV? I take you on a journey where I sit with our fathers and mothers and grandparents who lived during the pre-independence era and post-independence era. My name is Partey, and this is People and Places on Ghanaweb TV. Before I introduce our guest for today, I would like you to like and share this video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ghanaweb TV. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. My guest for today is a former member of parliament and a man of many hats. My guest today is Mr. Abraham Odoom. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually an honor to finally meet
Anyway, my name is Abraham Dwuma Odoom.
The full name
the three names
okay, it's very
have
important.
Meanings.
Okay, they have meanings.
Yeah.
A little light.
Oh, Abraham, I'm father of all.
Okay.
Dwuma, I'm very soft.
Okay.
Odoom, I'm very hard. So I meet everybody. You come under my umbrella. I have the soft spot for you if you behave. But I can go hard if you misbehave.
All right.
Because I'm a man of discipline.
Amazing. It's actually an honor to finally meet you.
Right.
You have been around since the 50s. Will it be safe to say to call you Grandpa?
Oh, well,
yes,
it's
Grandpa.
because already I'm Abraham.
All right, so I came just in the 90s, right? How was life then in the 50s?
Okay. I was born 11th August, 1952. So it was before independence.
Yeah.
Right. I was born in a very small village called Kokudum Krum. You know, Odum and Kokudum, it means my grandfathers and got that village. So that was where I was born. And that village was privileged to have a school setting in the 1980s, 90s. Meaning those days, there was no school there. I was fortunate that Kokudum is in the Upper Denchira East constituency or district now, municipal assembly in Dunko. The headquarters is Dunko Onofin. But my father comes from Denchira in Shaim. Then my mother from Chufu, Ayase in the Chufu Etimopa constituency or district, right? So around 1955, my father had a vision of moving to Dunkwa Onofin to settle there into choba keeping, so that at least we the children could have access to school.
So that was how you got yourself into school?
To school. Okay. And I was enrolled at Catholic Boys School, Dunkwa Ofin, in 1958 at the age of 6.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
1956 was when I was enrolled. At that time, my name was Francis Odoom.
So, the Abraham.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
In due course.
Okay.
Right. So, from class 1, 2, 3, 4. And the amazing thing is that I can remember all my teachers' names. Class 1, it was Master Broom. Class 2, Mrs. York. Class 3, Teacher Ankra. Class 4, Master Poku. Class 5, Teacher Song.
Okay.
Class 6, Master Ando.
Okay.
Form 1, Mr. Mensah, popularly known as Oshe. Form 2, Teacher Amwa. Form 3, Master Mensah, Teacher Mensah. And then Form 4, I had 2 teachers. The first one was Ayatam. He got transferred and was replaced by Francis Onyilola. So I know.
Amazing.
Recently,
Amazing.
about 2 years ago, I celebrated my birthday, 70th birthday. And I happened to be at that school to donate projector for the boys' school and then the girls' school in appreciation of what they did to me.
Amazing.
And I was happy to have Teacher Mensah there, who taught me Form 3. He was around 90-something years, and he was part of the celebration. So that is how my beginning started.
Okay. In 1957, when Ghana gained independence, did you understand anything that was going on at the time?
Well, I started school 58. So it means Ghana got independent before I started school. And as young as around 5 o'clock, 5 years, all what we were seeing was Kwame Nkrumah has gotten independence for Ghana. So the euphoria was all over, and all of us joined in it.
Do you remember one of the particular activities you...
The particular activity was flags. The school children were waving flags, marching on the street, celebrating, brass band here, dance band here, and it was all merrymaking. That was 1957.
Okay, so now let's come to the reign of Nkrumah, right? That was post-independence.
Right.
How was his tenure of government like?
Okay, so like I said, I started 58. So I had to come to class 4 thereabout before I could understand the dynamics of the day.
Okay.
And those days, you hear about Kwame Nkrumah, and all stories were said about him. Some mystic stories, some rumors, and then fake news. I remember around that time, he came to Dunko, and then people were saying Nkrumah came and they were eating, and he turned into a cat. Those kind of mysticisms. We were hearing all those things. And then, of course, the issue of women singing Nkrumah, Nkrumah show boy, that kind of thing. Then getting to San 2, San 3, I got myself enrolled in the Young Pioneer.
Okay.
There we were having daily training, and the training was targeted, conscientizing us towards our country's love. That is putting on your patriotic spirit. Yes. And I remember at the community center, we assembled there, and they would teach us the national anthem, the pledge, the aims, and all those things. And I remember at school, when we go in the morning, you have to sing the national anthem and then recite the pledge before you march into the classroom. Yes, so those were some of the things. And Young Pioneer, we have 2 groups. Those who had only the scarf, and then those who have the uniform and boots. So you start with...
Which one did you belong to? Or
now, in your youthful age, when you are in primary school, you belong to the scarf.
Okay.
So you put on your school uniform, but you have the scarf to identify you as a member. Then when you have gone to the middle school and have graduated, and you are even about ready to go to Russia, then you have the uniform and then the boots. And it was quite interesting.
Okay.
Because those were the days, I for one, those days were reading Makers of Civilization, where it was talking about leadership, rules, blah, 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 blah. It was there that I picked something that has been my guidance throughout my life.
Okay.
And what I picked was, Genghis Khan made a statement. Genghis Khan was a Chinese emperor. He made a statement to the fact that his greatest pleasure in the world is to conquer his enemies, see women and children wailing. And then I don't know what came upon me. I said, when I grow up, my greatest pleasure will be to conquer hunger and poverty and see women and children happy.
I like it's a profound kind of event. Okay, but before the interview, you mentioned something about the Pioneer Group.
Yes.
That you close your eyes and then they will tell you Nkrumah is
Yeah. I remember we have one Mr. Z.Y. Shadow. He was the youth wing leader. Okay. He would come over, and then it's like they were trying to conscientize us with Nkrumah-ism. So they say, okay, children, close your eyes and ask God to give you toffee. And then we'll close our eyes and no toffee will fall. But then you say, close your eyes and Kwame Nkrumah will give you toffee, and then they will rain some toffee on us and we'll pick. So at that age, we knew Kwame Nkrumah was our God. Yes. And now growing now as I am, I felt that those were some of the mistakes our great leader committed or his people made him to commit. Because at that time it was like he was pitching himself against God. And definitely anyone who pitches himself against God, you know the consequences. No two ways. Even though he meant very good and God set him up for a very good cause for Ghana because of maybe that thing. That is my personal observation. That is why maybe his fall came suddenly and at the time that Ghana needed him most.
In '66, where were you?
'66, I was in Form 2.
Ghana recorded the first coup when the president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was out.
And I remember when I was coming from home, town was all agog with music. People were jubilating left, right, center. Then we came to the classroom. And that time my teacher was Amwa, who became a lawyer and a judge. He's now retired and he's at Asim Fosu, where Honorable Kennedy comes from.
Okay.
My teacher is the Form 2 teacher.
Wow.
A retired high court judge or something, yes. Then he said, you know what has happened? We said, we don't know, we don't understand. He explained to us the meaning of coup d'etat.
Okay.
That some military people have taken arms against Nkrumah's regime. And these are the consequences. This is what is going to happen. So as we talk now, the military is fighting Nkrumah's bodyguards at Castle. That time it was Frasterhouse. Yes. They were fighting. And then 1 o'clock news will come, updates, blah, 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 those things.
So being a member of the Young Pioneer, yes. And then you realize
all of a sudden
your leader
was gone.
What was
so we were shattered because we were reading Nkrumah-ism, Conscientianism, all those things. And immediately we saw that all those books were being taken away from us. Where they took them to, we don't know. But some of us, at that time, infantile as we were, listening to people, we thought maybe it was a good thing that had happened to Ghana. We only grew up to know that it was a terrible mistake that happened to Ghana.
The subsequent coups.
Yes. That was, there were some failures, Yabua, those things. Then we had a champion coup. In other words, when Nkrumah was overthrown, NLC, and of course, at that time, the automatic leader was Buzia.
Yeah.
Buzia came and everybody gave him the applause that he is the next automatic leader. Then 27 months,
he was taken
away by Kutu Achampong, who happened to be an Nkrumahist.
Did that come as a surprise to you?
Oh, at that time I was not so much matured. Okay. But at least we saw that Ghana was going through some kind of transformation and transitions. That is what I would say about it then. But the good thing that he brought, that I still cherish, was the Operation Feed Yourself. where he brought people like Penasco on board, making sure that Ghanaians were really planting and growing what they eat. And for me, if I want to remember Kutu Achampon, I will remember him for that. If I want to remember Buzia, I remember him for Civics and Rural Development, NCCE.
Okay.
He introduced NCCE and then also Rural Development, Ministry of Local Government. In other words, he was very much interested in the development of the rural areas.
Okay.
Right. Then Kutu came and he was about food.
Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Sweetheart, be mindful of your health. Dear products Nadia Makeup, I welcome you to Sigma Health and Beauty. You can call us the Beauty Embassy. Who pursue beauty more revealed with quality makeup products. There is only one place, the Sigma Health and Beauty 2022 Ghana Makeup Awards Beauty Retail Business of the Year. Of course, we are the defending champions. World-class makeup brands and Kwanyet on, you name it. Maybelline, Dark and Lovely, House of Tara, and many more. Your professionalism in the beauty industry is unmatchable. Ensure the proper way of applying our products. Sigma Health and Beauty, Yewa Accra, Makola, Georgina Stores, and Rollins Park, Gate 4. Fryer 0248 138 596 and 0201 408 186. Or visit our online shop at www.beautyavenuegh.com. Sigma, your beauty, our joy.
You're still watching People and Places on Ghanaweb TV. My guest is Mr. Abraham Dwuma Odoom. It's been an interesting conversation already, but Honorable, let's talk about the Operation Feed Yourself. You've explained the basic concept, but how did the policy go down?
Well, the policy went down to almost every aspect of our life, social life. That was the time Kutu Achampon had come out with a policy of India, that the loans, the World Bank loans, the whatever loans that we were owing, he had said India, and he was saying Kafo Didi, and therefore he envisaged that there was going to be a cut in imports or people bringing goods down. Therefore, the alternative is let's grow our own food. And you could see gardens almost at every backyard. Schools had their gardens. Institutions like prisons and what have you had their farms. Individuals, like I said, had their gardens. People growing tomatoes, onions, and that kind of thing. And I would say it was one of the best times food was very much cheap and available to everybody in the country.
But now we don't see that in our schools especially anymore.
Yes, because we have eroded all those things. But thank God, I've started a project in Winneba Secondary School, which is my sixth form alma mater, and then St. John's, my Form 5 alma mater, where we are looking at doing integrated agriculture, fish farming, livestock, small ruminants, and then we do poultry, where we are getting eggs and fowl for the students.
Okay.
Then we use the remnants of all these to fertilize the soil so that we can grow yam, maize, beans, and then the vegetables. And we're hoping that we'll be able to provide about 70 to 80% of the food needs, food requirements of the students. That is a project between the PTA, and the Old Students Association.
Okay.
St. John's was 70 years, about 2 years ago. And then Winneba also was 70 years, about 4 or 5 years ago. Yes. And I recall the kind of enthusiasm the old students, the alumni, put into it in refurbishing the schools. Then I sat back and I said, no, let me tap into this kind of enthusiasm and passion to see what we can do beyond the repairs of the school. Because when we go to the school, we come to the realization that food was a major problem.
Okay.
So I spoke to the executives of the two alumni association, and they really accepted it. As I'm talking to you now, Winneba is about to start, and St. John's will be starting in due course.
Wow.
Where we are looking at feeding the students. Fortunately, I work with an Indian company. We are in partnership, and they are providing the seed capital for it, and the technology, and also management. We want to make it such a way that it will be sustainable, like we said about the Operation Feed Yourself.
Yeah.
So that it will not be a 9-day wonder. It will be sustained and provide meals, quality meat for the students, the staff, and even beyond. Because for us to be able to make it sustainable, we are looking at commercialization, where we'll be able to feed the students and also sell beyond to other shops so that we can get enough money to sustain the project.
So that's a very good project you got from the Operation Feed Yourself self concept. Yes. Let's come back to our governance structure.
Right.
We've had 4 coups already. What can you say has been the dynamics? Coup, come back to democratic governance, then we go back to coup, and then to what we have today.
Well, what I would say is that we haven't learned so much from all the changes that has come. No,
Explain that.
No, because, for instance, the 79 and the 81 coup, when those days were in campus, all of us got involved. And at that time, we were expecting that the past would be broken. If I say the past, those were the days we were talking about Kalabule. Those were the days we were talking about hoarding. Those were the days we were talking about corruption at highest level. Call it Kalabule, right? So we thought that 79 and 81 would have ended all those things. Some of us, our expectation, when we were carrying cocoa, anywhere they said we should go, we were ready there. We were sleeping for almost 11 years. We were sleeping at 6 o'clock and that kind of thing, curfew. So we felt that that transformation, that revolution will have taken us to a level that Rwanda, for instance, is enjoying now. So for me, if you're talking about the coups, my expectation was that Ghana would have been transformed. And seriously, Ghana sits on gold. Seriously, Ghana sits on so many things. And yet, we find ourselves in a kind of web where we go to IMF and come back, IMF and come back. Rwanda was visited with genocide for once. And I don't know, they took lessons out of it. I've been there 2 or 3 times. And when you go and you listen to their history, it means they learned from whatever happened to them and then decided that they will go this way. And now you go there, it's a place. I ask myself this question, why is it that we sit here and then we let the West keep us, pointing us to Rwanda? Look at Rwanda. What is happening in Rwanda? And then we sit here and we get ourselves engrossed in the auctioning elections, the auctioning governance that we find ourselves. Let us be honest and frank. currently, it is not elections. It is auctionings that we are doing. People with highest bid go for positions and then become our leaders. And we would have wished that by now, Ghana would have gone beyond that and found itself like we are seeing in Rwanda.
I see.
Because those days, when we're in pioneer time, they ask you to go to China, you won't go. Because China was as like we were. But then here was China. If you read their economic history, you realize that they made conscious effort to elevate themselves. Those were the days they would pick students from them, take them to Oxford, Cambridge, and then bond them. When you finish, you come back and then work for the country. But here we don't have anything like that. So currently, if you want me to assess our governance and where we are now, I'll say we haven't done better. We could have done far, far, far better for us to be where we should have been. By now, I mean 2008, 9, 10, we're in the middle income group. They say lower middle income. Where are we now? We've sunk again. So would you say that our governance have helped us? Where you go up and then come down, then you say governance haven't helped us.
All right. There's this story I've heard about 83 Com. Where were you at the time?
That was the time I've given birth to my third child.
Okay.
And it was terrible. Fire all over. And you hardly get food. If you have to get food, you have to go to the hinterland. And if you are fortunate, you see a farmer uprooting cassava, whether it was good or not good, you just buy it. I remember those were the days, gan kinke. You don't wait for it to be boiled. The woman make it and about to boil, you buy it and you go and boil it yourself. And I remember those who were taking our local gin. Oh, they will go and line up. And then they have a term they call piper pie.
Okay.
In other words, there's this lady who is selling apitashi will get his this thing from the bush and then announce it. Then people will come and queue. And when they queue, they buy what they will drink and what they will take home. So you can imagine scarcity at the highest level.
So tell us how you survived that period in 83.
83, virtually I have finished university. I was working with cocoa processing company. And then at that time I was a management trainee. Those were the good old days. I had my apartment, I had my VW. These days you people are not fortunate. You are not fortunate.
Okay.
So those were the days somebody say we were chopping time. Yes, even though it wasn't 83 had come, but yet we were having good time, especially those of us who have had a little bit of education. Not these days, you finish and 7 years, your parents are still taking care of you. So that's how I was at Cocoa Products Factory, Takrady.
Okay.
I worked there for about 11 years. Then there was another company in Takrady who needed my service more than my old place because that company was new. They were producing the electric poles, the pole wood treatment. So they came and poached me and I went there. I started as an accountant, became the corporate manager and then general manager. In fact, the company was based in Takrady and we were taking our posts from the north and then Bronga half. So through my strategic thinking and initiative, we were able to relocate we relocated one company at Ofinso, and I became the general manager. It was there and there that
you managed to cater for your family
In
during that
between,
period?
I got born again. From Cocoa and Dupo, I got born again. So I started Church of Pentecost, Fellowship with Church of Pentecost. Now, whilst I was at Dupo, Ofinso, me and my morning devotions, giving time to God for Him to bless was my number one thing. I remember Apostle Intumi of blessed memory visited me at the factory there, and he was so excited. When he came, we were in morning devotion. In other words, my staff, every morning we had to pray and seek the face of God before we start work. And there was a testimony I will never forget. The testimony was that there was bushfire, and we deal in wood, and especially when you have debarked it, the bark was very dry, and therefore if there was a bushfire, naturally that place should have been engulfed. But you go there and you see that thin line around the facility, and every place was black. Only the factory, that thin line, green line, has separated the dark from the factory, and then the green line.
Amazing.
And for me, it was the doing and the finger of God. And that was the time Apostle Intumi came around, and we gave him that testimony. He was so excited about it. It was there, my son. Are you my grandson or son?
Grandson.
It was there that one day I had a dream. And in the dream, it was like, go and read Ezra and Nehemiah. So I read the book of Ezra. Then I came to the conclusion that it was all about the word and faith. Put it in the nutshell, Ezra is about the word of God and standing on the word of God, faith. Then I read Nehemiah, and it was about transformation. Arise and let's rebuild. So I asked myself, what is this message for me? Okay, automatically I'll have to go to some of my church elders. At that time, Apostle Annan was also of blessed memory, was the apostle at Takoradi, where I was. Then I went to him, Papa, this is my dream. Then he said, God wants to use you for something special in political life. So be attentive. No wonder in about a year, I became assembly member for my lecturer area in Chufu Himaluwa Denchira. That is Chufu Ayase and Bepo being Kwedia Uchukrum area, lecturer area. I became the assemblyman from 1998. And then came 2000, NPP, people saw me as a credible candidate for their party. So I became the parliamentary candidate. President Kufuor came and I took him round. But before that, when I was the assemblyman, I had started something like re-engineering the economic life of my people.
Okay.
If I say re-engineering, my people were basically cocoa farmers. Most of them had abandoned and they were doing cassava and the rest. I found out that it was because cocoa was not yielding anything for them. So I bought what we call the spraying machine and then bought some kind of pesticides for them. The two communities, each one have one. And I encourage the farmers to use it. And they use it and the yield started coming. Then they say, hey, assemblyman. Those days it wasn't honorable. Assemblyman. Now these days everybody is honorable.
Okay.
Assemblyman, what you are doing is very good for us. So when President Kufuor came, they said, this is what our assemblyman has done. That is 2000 when I was also the PC and he was the presidential candidate.
Okay.
This is what our assemblyman have done to us. So if we vote for you, what would you do? Then President Kufuor said, if you vote for me, I'll do this all over the country. That gave back to the mass praying.
Okay.
Mass praying. That is the genesis. So I lost my seat. Even though I did very well, because those were the days NDC were beating us by 18,000 votes. But I closed it up to 2,500.
Okay.
So President Kufuor appointed me the chief executive for the district. It was there that I introduced cocoa high-tech. So Ghana cocoa high-tech that we're talking about, it was my hand.
Honorable. Now, you mentioned that you changed your name.
Yes.
So is it your entry into politics that made you change the name?
No, you see. You see, when I went to St. John's, I was called Francis.
Yeah.
Then along the line, I visited my grandma. And then my grandma said, Abrofudin de Nyamau. You also for Ebibidin. And now for Abraham. So that is how I took it. So within Form 5, even my certificates, the previous certificate had Francis, but the subsequent ones have Abraham. Yeah.
I see. You mentioned that you were appointed a minister.
No, DC.
A DC.
Yes,
okay.
And then during the DC, so many things happened that brought me into the admiration of President Kufuor. And I'll mention the cocoa high-tech was one. I remember I was in the office when President Kufuor sent a team from Castor and Cocoa Board to come and find out what was happening in Chufohima Luwadenche, because apparently farmers have started getting good yields after the high-tech introduction. People who were having 1 bag per year were getting 10, 20 bags. So definitely there was an economic boom. So the team came and they asked, what is the secret behind it? I took them to the farms and then they saw it. And the report was that, let's replicate it. So 2004, for instance, the Farmers' Day at home, President Kufuor gave me a special award, the Outstanding Chief Executive in Agriculture Pursuit. That is it. And when I was the DC, I will say this for the records, because I'm going to write my history, my book, and it will be there.
Okay.
I would say I was the first DC to have rejected his own budget on the floor of the assembly. And the basis for the rejection was this. I had taken on national service people and some university graduates who have come on holidays to assess and ascertain the capacity of my IGF. And I knew all the points of leakages. So I was going to seal those points. And when I sealed it, I was expecting that at that time I was getting 300 million OCDs. I will get to about 1 billion. My technical team, the technocrats, because they were beneficiary of something of that nature, wanted to circumvent and then did the budget on 600,000. I said, no way. I gave about 6 reasons to the assembly members that we should reject this budget. And we rejected it. And I remember Edumazi of blessed memory calling me on phone and shouting on me, what have you done? Have you heard anything of this nature in the country that you want to bring so much disrepute to the government? I said, Honorable Minister, I know what I am doing. And in 1 year, you know that what I've done is the best thing. And lo and behold, 1 year thereafter, I moved from 300 million to 1.8 billion, where I've sealed all the leakages, making sure that the women, the ladies who were collecting those monies were also well compensated. Incentive package for them. You collect this, you get this. You collect this, you get this. And amazingly, one day I was there, a lady came. I moved from churches to churches over the weekend, and she's a Methodist. Then she came, Honorable, I want to thank you very much for saving me from thieving, stealing. And I said, what is it? She said, yes, those days we were stealing the market money. And then the impression was that some of the money was coming to you. So we were wondering, what is this man doing? Money that we are stealing and we are bringing to you, for you and your wife and children. You are stopping it. So she didn't understand.
Okay.
Only to know later that those monies were not coming to me. But now she was getting clean money. And her testimony was that what they were giving them those days was even smaller than what I was giving them officially on paper. And I would say those were the days I picked 25 women to clean the village, the town, after every market day. That was the concept I downloaded to Zoom Lion.
Okay.
So if Zoom Lion is telling you the truth, he will tell you that I took him to Chufupraso to understudy that one. And then he brought it here. And the question was how he was going to start it. I, at that time, as the Deputy Minister for Local Government, organized the Central Regional MMDCs and then gave them the authority to use their poverty alleviation to support Zoom Lion. So if we have Zoom Lion, that was the genesis. At that time, I was living at 4 Circular Road behind Togo Embassy.
Okay.
I share border with the Speaker's house. And Zoom Lion was coming there, and I would go with him to Ajirigano to motivate his staff. And I remember one day I made a statement, and he remembers it. He will remember it, that this company that you people have started working will become a big and a mega company in future. So these are some of the things that I was doing.
Interesting.
Yes, as a minister.
Okay.
And then the BRT that have turned Ayalolo. That is one thing that pains me. I was in my office one day, and then the World Bank official, Kumar, came with an engineer that this is something that had been on the drawing board for a long time. That Kujo Banyirodu of blessed memory was in Washington, and he told him that he should come and see me, and I would definitely make sure that that thing happens. Lo and behold, in 2 months, I put up a team together with Deputy Minister for Transport. We went to Brazil, we went to Colombia, we went to UK and US to understudy the dedicated bus lanes, how they work over there. And especially we picked that of Bogota. That was what I brought here. And lo and behold, World Bank gave us $90 million. That is what I can see from it is the Ayalolo and then the overhead at graphic. Yes, because we're anticipating that we could get passengers from Kaswa to Makora under 20 minutes, and then from Aburi to Makola about the same time. But unfortunately, I was moved to health.
Okay.
And then people couldn't continue it because you see, the one who has the vision, like the women, the one who have the baby in the stomach is the one who can give birth.
Yeah.
If you don't have baby in your stomach, you can't give birth. Because the person who had the vision was gone, definitely there was emptiness.
All right. Ghana is 67 years old.
Yes.
What are your last words for the beloved country? Yes.
My last word is that I'm pleading to leadership at all levels that we should think ahead. Like I told you, at that age, I had an apartment, I had my VW, I'm married. But these days, 25, he has finished, say, university. He will stay for 7 good years. So what kind of future are we giving or bequeathing to our youth? And I'm afraid. No, these days, you see scammers all over. It's all because they have nothing doing. So, fortunately for us, we have advantage and a comparative advantage of land and agriculture. Africa is growing. The world is growing. Food
will become of excess.
Correct. And if we have the land, we call it and we pride ourselves 60% of the land. Why don't we make agriculture an industry that will pick a lot of people? That is the paper I'm holding here. I'm writing. I'm going to Kantanka this evening, and maybe if you listen to me there, you will hear what I'll talk about. The challenges that we have to convert into opportunities to create jobs for the teeming youth, so that at least we will bequeath a prosperous nation to our children. Other than that, we will be dead and gone, and people will come and stay here and enslave our people here. They won't take them away. This time the Chinese will come, take our land. The English people will come, the Arabs will come, and they have started coming, you know it.
Yeah.
They will come and take our land. And our people here, you can be a graduate, you can be a master's, you will be holding your master's and a PhD, and you will be serving them as slaves. And this is what I think at the age of 67, I'm praying that we don't bequeath that kind of negativity to our youth.
Thank you very
and
much.
Posterity.
Thank you very much. This has been an interesting and exciting conversation with our former Member of Parliament and former Deputy Minister. Yes.
For local government.
For local government.
And then for health.
And then also for health. Very important there. Viewers, we promise you another interesting conversation. We pray that the good Lord will be with all of us. Yes. And then also you tune into Ghanaweb TV on YouTube. You like this video, you share it so that we spread the good news. My name is Partey, and this is People and Places on Ghanaweb TV.